Hi. So today we're going to talk about forgotten shows that we personally loved that have been on Broadway in the last 2 years that we feel didn't get the love they deserved. Ain't No Mo is a story about what if the U.S. government told all black people to move back to Africa or else they were going to be turned into white people.
The next forgotten angel that I'm going to talk about, one would say an angel in America, was K-pop. I've been seeing those TikToks. Why am I getting all these dang Korean TikToks? I'm like, hi, my name is Melanie Rebecca.
My name is Rebecca Velasquez.
And you're watching Black, Brown, Broadway.
Today's episode, we're going to talk about forgotten shows and revivals that we'd like to see.
Yeah, she said. Yeah.
The next show that we're going to talk about is Here Lies Love. I sound like a broken record, but we're talking about the shows that we loved. I loved Here Lies Love. Unlike anything I have ever seen before. And I am wearing a Here Lies Love shirt today to honor the show. Can you see it?
We can see it.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So Here Lies Love is about the rise and fall of Imelda Marcos and her husband's dictatorship in the Philippines. Also, and the whole show is an homage to the club scene in the Philippines.
Okay.
Yes. So we talked about it last episode in the context of the Tony's and how we felt about its treatment there, but we'll never mistreat you here. I think it's a great show that emphasizes history in the context of now. Because that happened 30, 40 years ago. Psych, it's happening right now.
Yeah.
It's happening right now. And I feel like Broadway should be a little bit more thoughtful about how we schedule shows in our season. Like, this is an election year. This is a show that should be running right now so that we can churn in the masses and have them go, oh, that's fascism. Oh, I'm experiencing fascism. Like, let's just be mindful of scheduling things in the context of, what's happening. And I think Here Lies Love was an election year show. If I could, definitely not 1776. But, this was, I think it was.
God, I 100% agree with you. But when we talk about how it shows us, it's a portrait of any society with the rise of fascism, I feel like it's important that we also talk about people's concerns with the show and how people felt that maybe the show was glamorizing her. I didn't necessarily feel that way. I thought that she was a horrible person.
I feel like it didn't glamorize at all. It looked like she lived a shitty life.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
The producers actually also wrote a statement that said that I feel is very important to our conversation. History repeats itself. Democracies all over the world are under threat. The biggest threat to any democracy is disinformation. Here Lies Love offers a creative way of reinformation, an innovative template on now to stand up to a tyrant. We cannot tell the modern history of the Philippines without the United States. They are intertwined.
They are because the moment that you realize that it's not a glamorization is, who comes to pick her up when the people rise up in the Philippines? Who brings a chopper to come get her and her family?
Oh.
I'll let you in on a secret. The United States government of America.
Because our government loves fascists.
We are actively involved in a lot of conflicts.
We are responsible for most of the things going on in those countries.
So, yeah, I didn't think it was glamorizing it at all. I think it was very clear that these people were forced to live under her. She lived, what's that song? It's like, it's not her glamour. Is it Glamorous Life? Conrad Ricamora song. The Fabulous One.
Yeah,
The Fabulous One.
Yes.
I love that song. I love that song also because it's such a dance party. Like, everybody jump, jump, jump. I love that show.
I loved, oh my God, my mom and I were dancing.
Me too. It was great. But, that song shows you, they don't have working toilets. They don't have a proper education system. People are sleeping in the streets, but she keeps building these recreational art centers. She's actively doing drugs. She's in America at Studio 54, like riding on horses, doing drugs, whatever. Yeah. Her husband is cheating. He's got, like, the fact that in the show they played the actual recording of her husband cheating on her, like, it's one of the best historical shows I've ever seen.
It was by far the best musical of the 2023-2024 Broadway season.
I agree.
Also, I have to say, like, so many musicals nowadays, it's a formula. Mm-hmm. Like, they have the same thing. It's like, I feel like a lot of these shows I'm watching, it's the same thing over and over again. And I just loved how Here Lies Love just kind of took that formula and tossed it in the trash.
It beat it up in a ditch. It said, I don't care what you think a musical is.
Yeah.
Don't compare us, sweetheart. Yeah. We are not comparable. It is, and like maybe we should. I don't know. Is it a was or is it an is? Because art lives forever.
You're right.
Just because it doesn't exist on a certain stage or in a certain space does not mean it went anywhere. It just means that it's not accessible. And that's like one of our biggest things is theater should be accessible. If you're gonna close a production, you need to film it. And sure, it's great that Lincoln Center has it, but film it and put it where people can see, because people like theater. People enjoy musicals. They enjoy plays. If you give them the opportunity to support the arts, they absolutely will.
I have to say, as a kid growing up in Missouri who didn't have access to New York until a later age, I watched every little bootleg I could find, every little slime tutorial. Every little slime tutorial.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to try that again. I watched every little slime tutorial that I could find.
Yeah, slime. Wink.
Wink. I can't wink.
Wink.
Slime tutorial, because I wanted to experience the shows that were on Broadway, and I couldn't.
I was very fortunate to where I had a cast album of K-pop, but I feel personally robbed of a cast album of Here Lies Love with Ariel Jacobs. I feel robbed. I feel like what she brought to the character of Imelda, it just like, oh my God. It shows you like from the start, like I'm just a girl from, like what's her village called? Her small little village. She's like, I'm just a girl winning a beauty pageant. And then the next day I'm in the city. And then I find a husband and we're married after 3 days. Is it 3 days or 5 days?
Something like that.
5 days.
Yeah, 7 days.
7 days.
7 days.
7 days. Because it's a song in the show. But like, the lost art of a cast album, I think it hurts the legacy of the show. Mm-hmm. I think it erases the performers from the history of Broadway. So I think it's actually really disrespectful to not honor them that way. And I understand it's like the logistics of having to pay for studio space, but you need to have that in the budget when you announce a show. I hate experiencing a show once upon a one more time. I'm thinking about you always, baby. I feel robbed. Like, but it's about our history. We must preserve every single thing. Mm-hmm. Every single thing that graces the stage. You either film it or you give me a cast album. Mm-hmm. I appreciate it that they were selling the cast album from the one they did at the Public, but that's over like 8 or 7 years.
That was from 2013.
That's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
At the time when it was on, that was 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. You need David Byrne, right?
Yeah, David Byrne.
Hello, you have money. I saw you in Everything Everywhere, okay? I need you to, but like, do it.
Yeah.
I understand it costs. But just budget it. Please don't erase performers from history. Please don't erase their legacy from our history. It's our history. That's like replacement actors, revivals. They matter so much. Don't treat them like they don't matter by not honoring their legacy by either filming their production or giving them a cast album. Hey girl, don't be scared. Are you depressed? The parties just ain't hitting like they used to? Girl, what are you doing? You know what? I know just what you need. You need theater. Go see theater.
show that we are going to talk about is How to Dance in Ohio, which was a musical that we had last season that told the story of 7 autistic adults and their trials and tribulations through life, and while they prepare for a dance, and how they're going to ask people out, and what they're going to wear. And it was really good. I mean, it was a wonderful show, and it was wonderful for representation because it was the first time on Broadway that autistic actors were actually playing autistic characters.
I got a chance to see How to Dance in Ohio because, again, it was a show that announced a closing early on in its life. It's really funny how this country is very anti-abortion, but I see a lot of dead babies on Broadway, so... How I felt about the show was it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I don't know if I'll ever experience what I did in that space.
I have to give a shout-out to Desmond Lewis Edwards as Remy and Imani Russell as Mel. I feel like when we have portrayals of autistic people in media, so the majority of the time, pretty much all of the time, it's the white male, specifically, that is portrayed in media.
Or that really bad movie.
We don't need to talk about that, but again, another white person. And I have an older sister on the spectrum, so it's really refreshing to see people who aren't white, who are autistic, on stage, and they both gave amazing performances. But I think one of the benchmarks of How to Dance in Ohio's time on Broadway, their short life when it should have been longer, is the way it changed how theater can be accessible for not just the audience, but for the actors. This is my second time going to see a show and experiencing things that were accessible for the audience to have them have an accessible time, to have them, if they have meltdowns or have sensory issues. When I went to go see Dark Disabled Stories off Broadway at the Public Theater, that was also what they had in there. Specifically for How to Dance in Ohio, they had an access team at to make every performance as sensory friendly as possible. And that really means a lot to me because my older sister didn't get to see a lot of the shows that I was in growing up because it was too much for her. The sensory issues would have been a nightmare, and I completely understand. Love you, Gabby. I love you. There was a sensory space on the lower level equipped with toys for people to have. They didn't dim the lights fully for the audience. There was a hypersensitivity space in the mezzanine with a sensory nook pad for individuals who needed a break. And then when we talk about the actors specifically and making the rehearsal process and the run of the show accessible for all actors, they distributed an access survey to every actor in the show, and they asked them, what do you need to do your best work? And there were Broadway veterans in the cast who spoke up about how they had never gotten a survey like that before. And it was one of the best rehearsal processes for them as well. And as a disabled actor myself, who does need things to make my life more accessible, I use a walking aid when I'm tired. I think more people need to do that. I think this needs to become a practice for every show.
I think... And Rebecca, thank you so much for talking about it. I really didn't feel equipped enough to talk about it, but you told me again to see this show, and it was an important show. It may not have been my favorite, but I think that everything should be accessible to everyone. And right now, Broadway is not accessible to everyone, financially, physically, mentally. But it's in the workspace, but it's also as an audience member. Everyone does not have that kind of access. And so to have a show where you make it where everyone is safe, everyone is comfortable, everyone is heard, everyone is seen, it's just beautiful. I'm happy that you got to have that experience. I'm grateful that those actors got to have that experience, and that audiences who were able to see this show understood what it felt like to not be uncomfortable, but to just step in someone else's shoes, to live in the shoes of what, and it's the audience gets to, go in and out of that. But there are people who live like that, period. And they deserve that respect and that understanding. And it was a beautiful experience.
Hey, are you depressed? Even your ice cream didn't want to be around you? Have you been going to see theater? Well, you should and you can. It will change your life. You can see Broadway, off-Broadway, off-Broadway. Look how hot I look in front of that Sunset Boulevard poster. For our next topic of conversation, we're going to talk about revivals of musicals on or musicals and plays that we would like to see.
I would love to see the Prom revival. I was fortunate enough to see it in Atlanta when it was like first starting out, so I watched it go from there to Broadway. But what's her name? Is it Emma?
Emma, yeah.
Yeah. Emma's not a lesbian anymore in my revival, obviously. She's trans. She's a trans
lesbian?
She can be a trans lesbian.
Yeah.
Sure. I won't take that part of her identity. But I think a trans or non-binary person.
Yeah.
Simply because when it just was a little too late for its time. Like, that was a lawsuit. You can't just have a separate prom. Like, that's a lawsuit. Mm-hmm. But, like, how adamantly this government and our legislation is trying to come for trans youth, like, I just feel like it would hit a bit more. I'm obviously playing Dee Dee. Is it Dee Dee?
Yeah.
I'm obviously... Because it's not about me.
You.
Yeah, me. But it is about me, though. Like, I didn't come here to make a scene, you know? Mm-hmm. But I know how Emma's heart aches. Mm-hmm. This is how actors intervene.
Exactly.
With fiery songs and dance breaks. Okay.
I really want a revival of chess. And it has been trying to come to Broadway every year. And there's always something that happens. And I'm going to tell you exactly who I want to play the 4 characters.
Okay. Oh, wow. She's thought about this.
Oh, I've thought about this. So there's 2 different books of chess because the reason it didn't do well the first time around because the book sucks. There's a book for the London version and there's a book for there's an American version. And I saw the concert version of chess in 2022 and they had the American version and it was fucking hilarious. And I want to tell you, I want Raul Esparza to play Freddie.
Of course you do. You want him to play every show. Of course you do.
And he should be playing in every show.
Yeah, sorry, you were robbed for Sweeney.
Yeah. He should have been the next Sweeney on Broadway, but that's another thing.
He really should have been.
I want him to play Freddie. I want Lena Hall to play Florence because she was incredible when I saw her in the concert. Mm-hmm. I want Ramin Karimloo to play, I forget the Russian guy's name, but him. And then I want Saleha Pfeiffer to play...
Ooh. Spicy.
The Russian girl. I forget her name.
Look, but you've already cast them.
I've already cast them.
It doesn't. Look, you remember your names. You're in the cast.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Ain't no mo. I don't have to explain that.
No.
Ain't no mo. Yeah. Okay. But since I don't have to explain it, Limpika. Now we are gonna talk about Limpika later. Not this episode, but like eventually. I would love to see a revival of Limpika. There are story and character changes that need to be made, but you know what? I don't really need a change to the cast at all.
Oh, God, no.
And honestly, if Amber Iman won't come back, then you don't need to do it.
Yeah.
Unless, Amber Iman, you'd like to adopt me and and personally train me under your tutelage because you as Rafaela is just... Whatever. We're going to talk about it in a future episode, but not now. But call me.
I would like to see a revival of Jelly's Last Jam. That was at New York City Center this February, March, whatever that was, with Nicholas Christopher starring as Jelly Roll Morin. First of all, this man can do anything.
Yes, I saw him as Sweeney.
He can go. He was my favorite Sweeney, by the way.
Yes, you look as Sweeney. I had never seen that show before. I was nervous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'm blushing, but anyway,
I was nervous.
I feel like that says something about us that we were attracted to Sweeney Todd.
I don't know. I feel like all of my exes were low-key serial killers anyway, but I don't know. Crazy.
It was incredible. He tap danced the whole show. He was, oh my God, his singing. And one of the best performances I've ever seen, ever. There was a review where they talked about how Nicholas Christopher has the facial expressions of female divas from the past. Ooh. Like, he's that good.
Go ahead, diva.
Yeah, right?
Go off, diva.
It was a New York Times critics pick. People were thinking it was going to transfer to Broadway because it was doing so well. And nothing ever happened.
Do you want to tell the class why nothing ever happened with that show?
Racism.
Pretends to be shocked. Oh.
They said I heard. So this is just the was producers didn't think it would have a large enough audience to transfer to Broadway. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. You have a couple of different options for the fuck you. That was just.
I better not catch you outside.
It was such a fucking
producer.
incredible show.
I didn't get to go.
I'm sorry.
No, look, I didn't get to go, but I was like, whatever, because Rebecca was like, it's got to transfer. And then it didn't, and I was like, God damn it.
I saw it twice within a week.
Yeah.
That was how good it was.
God damn it. Fuck.
Fuck.
Fuck. Fuck. Rebecca said, fuck you.
Fuck you to all the producers.
Oh my God. Okay, so next on my list, and I won't be taking, I don't care what you have to say. Bad Cinderella. I don't care what anyone had to say about that show because the people who were talking so much trash didn't go see it. You didn't go see it. I need a revival of Bad Cinderella I have 2 conditions. Number 1, Carolee Carmello and Gracie McLean have to come back.
Oh, absolutely.
They have to come back. Stars. Just, oh my God, I love that show. The one stepsister was like, it's giving peasant. Like, because it was giving peasant. But anyway, my second condition is no one over the age of 40 is allowed in the theater. No one under the age of 40 is allowed in the theater because they just didn't get it.
No.
They were the ones that were talking the most trash, and you didn't understand. It wasn't for you, honestly. It was for the high school spring break trips. It was for Rebecca and I to take treats and get drunk and watch, and it was for fun. Everything about it was fun. The opening of that, like,
Yes.
God, it
And
was so
the
good.
half-naked men.
Oh my God, what was that song?
Yeah.
What was that song?
Oh.
I forgot what that song was, but it was the whole thing was so good. Like, I had a blast. I had a blast. Andrew Lloyd Webber, you ate that one thing, you know? Andrew, you ate that one thing. I mean, look, you know what? You ate 2 things because we saw Cats.
My next list of revivals that I would like to see is a revival of Urinetown. There has never been a revival of Urinetown on Broadway since its premiere in 2001.
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy because it's amazing. And I know they're coming to New York City Center, but my wants and needs for a revival of Urinetown is for no white people to be in the cast.
Ooh. Are you being racist?
Yes.
Say no.
No.
I'm being prejudiced.
No, I'm being prejudiced.
Okay, that's the difference. No, that's okay. So, do you want to explain why?
Well, the things that the people in Urinetown are going through are very reflective to what a lot of black and brown people in this country go through.
I feel like the people of Flint have been living Urinetown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's not even a joke. That's literally
No, that's literally
the people of Flint have been living Urinetown for over 10 years.
Yeah.
Over 10 years.
Yeah.
So I feel like the material is made, like I just can't. If there was a town in America where white people didn't have access to something, it would have gotten like, I don't know, like some billionaire in the would have already donated $1 million. Like, white people suffering. No.
In the Heights. I don't think there's an explanation needed. We just need In the Heights to be on Broadway.
We have to make up for the film.
Exactly. And also, let's do an In the Heights revival in 40 years so I can be Abuela Claudia.
Rebecca would be an amazing Abuela Claudia.
I did it in high school. I was one of 2 Latino people in the cast. I wanted to kill myself.
Rebecca would be an amazing Abuela Claudia. She would. She really would.
Thank you.
And then I need a Chicken and Biscuits revival. It was one of the earlier plays that came back after 2020, and so it had a very short run. Also in the Circle in the Square. Circle in the Square does not have a lot of things with longevity, unfortunately, unless your name is Jeremy Strong. But Chicken and Biscuits, Chicken and Biscuits, so funny, like
so funny,
stupid funny, like Norm Lewis, Michael Urie, right? Yeah. It was hilarious.
If there's a revival of Chicken and Biscuits, we can't let white people review the show because the last time they reviewed it, they didn't get it and they completely trashed it and they were wrong.
I mean, I just feel like, you know what, producers, just start inviting more black people who like theater to your show. I think Ayanna Prescott should get free passes to every show. If you don't know who Ayanna Prescott is, do yourself a favor and look her up. She is not to be played with. She is huge, okay? Put some respect on her name. But I just don't think that, like, again, like we were talking about earlier, white people don't know how to interpret stories that are not rooted in the struggle that they put us through. They only know what they gave us. Everything else that we found, they act really confused. They're like, oh my God, I had no idea you little black and brown people had culture. You know, we're just so used to stealing ours. So, yeah, Chicken and Biscuits, I need a revival. And last one, POTUS.
Oh, yes.
I think POTUS should live on a theater.
I saw the show 6 times when it was on Broadway.
I saw it like 4 times, right?
Yeah. It was.
I took my mom and my sister. We went a couple of times.
Yeah.
Also, Rebecca's white mom, she got us tickets.
Yeah, she got us tickets to the
closing performance.
Yeah.
And we saw, and we didn't speak, but we got a Brian.
Yes.
What's his name?
Brian Stokes Mitchell.
Yeah, we saw Brian Stokes Mitchell.
Yeah.
Well, all right, cool.
Okay.
Thank you. Best way to see a show: drunk, high, or sober?
The question, I don't know the answer. Let's discuss it.
Where it was actually like a little scary.
I'm wearing a Merrily We Roll Along shirt.
No, you're not.
No, I'm a little freaked out. Like, what am I doing here?